of the Union tomorrow night. President Trump will take to the lectern in the well of the U.S. Capitol and probably say the state of our union is strong. Or he'll say it's amazing, it's unbelievable, spectacular. And I don't know who's going to be there because the Democrats have apparently learned that they made fools of themselves last year. Remember? With the little placards? False. Lie. Remember how ridiculous they were? We laughed and laughed. Remember how they didn't stand for little Daniel, the aspiring police officer? How they didn't stand for the cancer victims. They didn't stand for Laken Riley's family. Nobody was sympathetic enough to make the Democrats stand and clap a little. Nope. They weren't going to do it, no matter how heartless and disgusting they looked. Well, this year they've realized that their little placards sucked. And I guess what happened, according to the National Review, they wrote an article about this, about what happened after last year was the normie Democrats were so humiliated by the far left progressive Democrats who brought those little placards to the State of the Union that there was blowback against them. Like, what are you doing? You're making us all look stupid. And then the Democrats out in the wild got mad at the establishment Dems for yelling at the progressive Dems. Like, at least they're doing something. Oh, their little lie placard. Okay, if that's doing something, okay. And so then the normie Democrats got worried that they looked like they were too weak. And so I guess this year, a bunch of them are going to skip. At least the progressives may skip. AOC is going to skip, reportedly, the State of the Union. And they're going to hold their own State of the Union, gathering hosted by Joy Reid. Okay. Sure, I love it. This is going to send just the right message about where your party is and who it sees as its leaders. A woman who absolutely hates whites, who is too extreme even for MSNBC, who first came to fame by faking a blog hacking to cover up her homophobic and other bigoted posts. Remember her lies about how she got hacked? It was a fucking lie. Then she had to say the FBI was investigating, which was another lie. And she got away with that lie because she's a leftist black woman. And they let you get away with anything if you're a black woman.
So you guys, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. The Democrats are at it again. Actually, this is what we're going to say. The Democrats are seceding again. Basically, let me get this straight. And instead of showing up to the State of the Union address like grown adults, just what the regular folks would do if they have a job and they may not like everything that the company is doing or that the CEO was doing, but they're like, hey, we're adults, we're going to show up. These people are unable to just be representatives of the American people. So instead, a few of them got together and they were like, nah, we're going to sit this one out. We're going to boycott. We're going to pout. We're going to protest. And I know, we're going to host our own pity party because we're butthurt that America is overwhelmingly rejecting what it is that we want to do. And the only thing we know how to do is to act like petulant children. And here, I've got something better. Why don't we ask Joy Reid? Let's put Joy Reid in charge and ask her to host the party. Joy Reid. You cannot make this up. Y'all, at this point, this is not politics. This is performance art. It's ideological, like karaoke or something. Rebellion cosplay. But y'all, this is where we are. This is the modern Democrat Party. And this is them doing what they've always done. They've always divided. They disrupt, destabilize, and then cry oppression when it's like nobody applauds and claps for them and tells them they're doing a good job. And so I want to talk about this today. I wanted to let Megyn Kelly play because she succinctly put together the fact that the Democrats are boycotting the State of the Union address. And they're, in her monologue, she highlights that Abigail Spanberger is going to be doing the response. And so I just wanted to come and do a quick video to talk about, y'all, this is the party of rebellion. That's who they were then, and this is who they are now. You know, the longer that I'm on the internet and the more I learn about U.S. history, y'all, the more I'm confident that when I say that the Democrat Party didn't suddenly become chaotic, they didn't just wake up one day and said, you know what, we want to be divisive. They didn't just suddenly start becoming anti-American. You guys, this is their ancestral spirit. This is their inheritance, which is why it is so weird to me to see Black people voting for their oppressors and voting blue no matter who, even if it's the last thing that they will do. You got Black Democrats out here that I was like, I was born a Democrat and I'm going to die a Democrat. Literally. I don't know if you know this, but from day one, the Democrats have always been the party of rebellion. I mean, slavery. These were the people who were fighting to expand slavery. It was Democrats. Jim Crow. Like after the Civil War, you had a bunch of maimed, broke down Confederates who joined together and were like, you know what? We're going to subjugate Black people some more because we're not done. Yes, we got our butts spanked and we lost the war. We didn't cede from the Union. But that was Democrats, y'all. That's who they are. The KKK literally was the paramilitary arm of the Democrat Party. Just a bunch of hell-raising rabble-rousers. Just more Democrats doing what Democrats do. Then you have segregation. They resisted every single piece of civil rights legislation that was ever introduced. It was always them. Just being hateful and evil and wanting more oppression and more secession and more subjugation. It's Democrats. They're the ones. Opposition to school desegregation, that was them. Opposition to voting rights, Democrats some more. And now these jokers, they can't help it. They can't help it. Not only do they oppose keeping America safe, keeping the border closed, now for their latest parlor trick, they're like, listen, I think we should oppose the State of the Union address. Same spirit, new outfits, same retards. I'm sorry. Back then they rebelled. They had whips and chains, but today they rebel with like hashtags and hormone blockers and waving rainbow flags. Y'all, the rebellion is still rebellion no matter how you package it, but I just wanted to highlight. And this video is to let you guys know and to remind y'all of something, that the last time that the Democrats, they didn't like the direction that America was going in and they didn't like what was going on. Y'all, they tried to leave, right? Like if we look down through the annals of time and history, it was called the Confederacy. These jokers tried to leave. They literally said, listen, we don't like the rules. We don't like equality. We love our slaves and dagnammit, we don't like losing power. In fact, we need more slavery. Who's going to pick all this cotton? Right? Who's going to serve us and do what we need them to do for us? So they just decided we're going to start our own thing. Union? What union? We are the union. Y'all, does any of this sound familiar? It's the same thing today. Today is we don't like Trump. We don't want to do what the voters want. We don't care that America overwhelmingly wants voter ID and is like, can you please push the SAVE Act and pass the legislation? No, they don't care what the voters want. They don't want to protect the sanctity of life. They don't want to protect the heteronormative nuclear family. No. We don't want law and order. Why would we want law and order? We need our homelessness. We want the drugs pouring in. Give us all of the dysfunction that normal people don't want. We want it. Why? Because we don't like accountability. We love chaos and disorder and dysfunction. So what do? They're going to host their own State of the Union and then brag about all of the ways that they want more chaos and how the orange man is bad. And y'all, it's the same tantrum, different century. This is, at this point, this is ideological secession. These people are already gone. They already jumped ship. They are emotionally seceding from America, and they are demonstrating their rebellion by not attending the State of the Union address. And now we just got to sit and watch them celebrate all of their failures. But here's something interesting. I thought it was interesting that Joy Reid would be the one hosting this, right? But then I thought about it. I said, no, Joy Reid, she's the perfect symbol. She's the perfect one for them to choose. She's a race trading, race baiting, melanated Marxist minded tether. An actual first generation African immigrant who, if you analyze her career, she's pimped this nation of its educational and career opportunities, but she's the most ungrateful hate monger former cable news anchor that they've ever had the pleasure of firing. Yet she dares to lecture us on what we should be doing. And so, of course, they would pick her because Joy Reid represents exactly who they are. She is the modern plantation spokesperson. She's the perfect person to spew all of the hateful rhetoric and to keep the blacks in check. So they use her, blonde hair or not. She's perfect for them. But let's talk history for a moment, because this is the part, one of the reasons why I believe so many people struggle to understand the difference between the right and the left is because they don't teach this stuff in the woke schools. But little known history fact, you guys, there were thousands of black slaves who defended the Confederacy. I know y'all like, I know you lying. No, I am not. You heard that right. There were black slaves who fought on the side of their slave master. These slaves guarded the plantations, built the ramparts, dug the ditches. If you read Booker T. Washington's autobiography, Up From Slavery, he actually talks about how there was this weird loyalty and protective nature that many of the slaves on his plantation had for their master. They protected their slave owners. They fought against the Union Army, not because they were free, but because they loved their master. I told y'all they loved their master's dirty drawers. They had developed this weird, twisted affection for the very people who kept them in bondage. So much so that during the war, when all of the white men were off to fight, the plantation is not being manned or guarded, or there's no overseer to keep the slaves in check. The slaves didn't run away. They stayed there and took care of the mistress and the children and kept the plantation going. You explain to me how that's doable, unless these people were not just physically enslaved, but they were psychologically enslaved, which is worse to me. Literally, it is Stockholm Syndrome for the black slaves who fought for the Confederacy. They had bondage of the mind, and Joy Reid is doing the same thing today. She's just like them, defending the same party, protecting the same wicked and weird ideology, serving the same masters. She's just doing it with better lighting and a whole makeup team who, no matter how hard they try, they still can't manage to make that girl look tolerable, visibly or audibly. She's just a mess no matter how you look at it. But here's the thing. I really want to know. I know I'm clowning. I know I am mocking. And listen, this video is full of sarcasm. But I really want to know, how are you on this side? If we're going to be real, let's just talk about Joy Reid for a moment. Joy Reid is the daughter of immigrants. Like, her ancestors weren't enslaved in this country, at least not on this continent. I don't know about in the motherland what her people had going on, but she didn't come from American plantation culture. And yet, she carries water for the party that created it. Can somebody make that make sense for me? Like, how is this a thing? How do you side with the architects of oppression while calling everybody else racist? That makes no sense. You sound crazy, lady. And the people who quote Joy Reid, like Ricky Smiley, and talking about, I need to watch Joy Reid because her smart and her really be giving you and keeping you up to breast with what's going on. Like, you sound completely unhinged and delusional. Like, that takes talent. That takes a new level of training and ideological brainwashing for you to make that round peg fit into that square hole. You guys, we're watching modern tyranny in a woke costume, because these modern Democrats, what they practice today, they absolutely practice tyranny. Let me think. They censor speech, do they not? They punish any kind of dissent. Just remotely be like, hey, should we possibly be thinking or doing this? Y'all saw what they did. Y'all saw what they did to Stephen A. Smith. They punished dissent. They will cancel your whole career. It doesn't matter how much you've contributed and how hard you have worked. They will cancel you. They tried to cancel CeCe Winans. I'm like, listen, CeCe is uncancelable. She is cancel proof. They tried to cancel her. They will weaponize government. All of this lawfare, how they will come after you to ruin your life. They will spy on parents, turn parents against their own children and children against their own parents. They recently targeted churches. Don Lemon targeting churches. They want to regulate and be in charge of everything. They tax everything. They want to control everything. But yet, they call you and me the dictator. They'll call you a fascist. They are out here calling us Nazis. Y'all, I'm joking and I'm clowning, but there is a serious overtone to this, because this is classic abusive behavior. They're abusers. They gaslight, they control, they blame, they rinse and repeat. Effectively, Black America today has been abused by these people for centuries. And now you're watching these abusers turn other Blacks into abusers. And now they've sexed Joy Reid to represent and to give a play-by-play commentary on the State of the Union address that a huge percentage of Democrats are going to boycott because they hate Donald Trump more than they love this country, which means they don't love you. Now, not that you need them to love you, but I'm saying they don't even care about you as an American citizen. Chaos is their brand. Just look at Democrat cities. You got crime, lots of drugs, boo-boo in the street, homelessness, failing and broken schools, hospitals failing, everybody's on welfare, living off the government. The courts are corrupt. City council is stealing from you. And then they say you should vote for us again. I'm like, no, that is insanity. That is Stockholm syndrome, to keep doing the same thing over and again, thinking that your oppressor this time, he not going to hit you upside the head. He's not going to continue to abuse you. So this whole counter State of the Union address, it's just a temper tantrum. Let's just call it what it is. It is a political temper tantrum. They lost. They're mad about it. And they know things are so bad in light of what Donald Trump is doing that it'll be a cold day in hell if they ever regain power again. They're embarrassed. He wasn't supposed to survive Butler. He wasn't supposed to win. Y'all, they tried to kill him, tried to put him in jail. They tried to bankrupt him. They threw everything at him, and he's still here. He is still standing, and they got exposed. So instead of governing and saying, let's just take a step back and just go back to the drawing board and put the American people first, no, instead they're grandstanding. Instead of listening to the people who voted for them, they just screaming, throwing a temper tantrum, incapable and unwilling of actually fixing and solving a problem. Instead, all they want to do is finger point because they have no solutions. They have absolutely no solutions. And my point is, they've never changed. If we just summarize Democrat history in the 1800s, pro-slavery, this is the party that wanted to expand slavery. Just expand it, talking about just take it all to the west, all the way out to California. We need our slaves. In the 1900s, pro-segregation. These were the Jim Crow aficionados and the KKK. Just, we got to keep these blacks subjugated because we need to be in control. In the 1960s, they were against basic civil rights, not this new school of civil rights with the feminism and the gay stuff hitched to it, but they were absolutely anti-civil rights. And then in the 80s, 1980s, these were the pro-welfare dependency people. These are the ones that created the welfare queens and big government. Give us free. Pay for our health care. Pay for our child care. Pay for this. Pay for that. All they want. Pro-welfare dependency because they realize if you can keep people dependent, they'll continue to need us and vote for us. They still want that master-slave relationship. We take care of you. We provide for you. And in turn, just like the slaves with the Stockholm Syndrome, they get their undying love and loyalty to where you'll vote for your own oppression. You can get Negroes to drink poison if you give it to them for free. That's what we witnessed in the 1980s, and now it's even worse. And then in the 2000s, these were the pro-womb assassins, the pro-abortion baby murderers, the ones who convinced women to hire a medical hitman to assassinate their own babies in their own wombs, and then they tried to sell it to you and tell you it was health care. It's a right for you to be able to murder a baby. Why? Why would you want to stop such a thing? And then they went even further in the 2020s. This is the pro-gender confusion, the pro-freak, nasty sexual perverts that nobody should be talking. All these things that they push, we shouldn't even be talking about in polite company. But yet here we are because they nasty. They're nasty and they are perverted and they are evil. Same party. Same control model, just in different packaging. Y'all, they don't want citizens. They don't respect the American people. They want clients. They don't want you to think and have an independent thought. They want you dependent. They do not represent American freedom and liberty. They want submission and they need you to be obedient. And so the whole point here, we've been here before. This is so familiar, America. We've seen this movie. We already know how it ends. Division, economic collapse, social breakdown, government overreach. That's what rebellion produces. And these darn Democrats are addicted to the rebellion. So when I see Democrats hosting their very own State of the Union address with Joy Reid at the helm, preaching grievance, selling victimhood, and pushing division, y'all, I don't see progress. What I see is history repeating itself. I see the the Confederacy in skinny jeans and them ugly little big rimmed glasses, right? And all the white liberals wearing these big old glasses now. Now I'm starting to see black women do it too. I see plantation politics in high definition, like 4K. Rebellion wrapped up in melanin, right? They're not resisting tyranny. They are the tyranny. They're not protecting our democracy. I'm so sick of them using that word. They're afraid of it. They want nothing more than to manage your oppression. They're not trying to fight it. And like I always say, they're trying to secede from all of the common sense policies that Donald Trump is implementing. And at this point, it's making Donald Trump look like a hero, but he's really not doing anything novel. He's just trying to course correct all of the crazy far left, just out of this world policies and the direction they're trying to take this country in. So the truth is, that's all it is. They're trying to secede from common sense and disavow us from truth and reality. And they're doing it one temper tantrum at a time. And that's what this boycott of the State of the Union represents. But I'm curious to know from you guys, what do you think? Do you think it is unpatriotic for either party to boycott attending the State of the Union? These people have a history of being disrespectful. You had Nancy Pelosi ripping up the speech. Then last year, those stupid little placards about false, lies, fake news. Like they're just children. They are silly at this point, and this is why no one takes them serious. But if you think you're like, good, maybe if they're not there, it'll be a less of a disruption and we'll actually be able to enjoy the speech. Or if you're like, no, as much as they get on my nerves, the appropriate and adult thing to do is to attend. And if you ain't got nothing nice to say, just sit there with your hands folded and be quiet. But don't be sending Al Green up there shaking that little cane, him looking like he in his early millions, like Cro-Magnon man. Like this just crazy. Anyway, y'all leave me your thoughts down in the description box below. And until next time, you guys, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, stay unshakable. Grace and peace.